Ontario Premier Doug Ford had a message for mayors in his province this week.
But I have an idea. Why don't the big city mayors actually put in writing that they want the province to change the homeless program, make sure that we move the homeless along, and why don't they use the notwithstanding clause or something like that?
Well, that's exactly what some mayors did. 13 Ontario mayors wrote to the Premier asking Doug Ford to use the notwithstanding clause so they can clear homeless encampments in their city. The notwithstanding clause would override a court decision from early 2023 that prevents clearing homeless encampments if a city's shelters are full. Cam Guthrie is the mayor of Guelph and one of the mayors who signed the letter, and he joined me now. Mayor Guthrie, it's good to see you. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Why did you decide to sign this letter if there's nowhere for people living in these encampments to go?
Well, I think there's actually been a little bit of nuance to that, because what's happening in a lot of communities across Ontario is that there actually is shelter space that is available, or a unit for somebody, or a supportive unit where they can get off the streets and into some type of supports. But they just refuse. And sometimes they refuse for their own reasons. But sometimes municipalities have certain areas that are dedicated for encampments. And they're away from where the mom wants to go with the kids to the park, to the playground, or impeding on our downtown cores, really making it difficult for our businesses to succeed. Or they're tenting in the middle of a baseball diamond where a little league baseball game can't go on. And when we have those conversations with those people to say, could you not be here? And could you instead be over here? They can still refuse. And that's where some of this legal friction, legal issues, the legal patchwork that's happening across the province from different cities is causing problems amongst all of us in the province of Ontario.
But this, I guess, Mayor Guthrie doesn't solve the homelessness problem, it moves it. It is essentially what it would do, right? Giving you the power to move them from here to there, as you say, if there isn't shelter capacity?
Well, in most cases, there is shelter capacity. And this is the problem. A lot of them will just say no, and they might have some reasons for it, but a lot of it is addictions and mental health reasons. And a lot of us feel that they are not making the sound decisions that they need to be to get them into a better path in life. And we want to try to save their lives and try to help them move from an area where they are to a better area where they can have supports and have the wraparound services that they are in. And at the same time, have some sort of respect to our entire communities when it comes to public order and safety and welcoming public spaces that should be for all, but instead are being taken over by people and then hiding, I believe, under legal decisions that are causing huge problems within our communities, our business areas, and even in our residential areas too. We can have both compassion and empathy for these people, and we can offer them help. And I want to, and we all want to. We don't want to lose that. But at the same time, there has to be reasonableness on where these encampments are so that we can have them away from the other areas in our communities where the public should be able to freely roam and enjoy.
But help me understand this. The court decision, I believe it was Ontario Superior Court, said it's a violation of their Section 7 charter rights to force an eviction from a homelessness camp if there is no shelter capacity. Your argument that in many cases there is shelter capacity would mean you don't need the notwithstanding clause. It would only be to move them from one homelessness encampment location to another homelessness encampment location that you would need the notwithstanding clause, because if there is shelter capacity, it is within your legal rights to evict them, right? So, or am I missing something there? Because that would be my interpretation of that judgment.
Well, this is the problem. The interpretation is continually changing, and municipality after municipality after municipality is being challenged on these issues. And frankly, many mayors, and there's more mayors signing on to this letter every day now, they're done with this because we are getting nowhere on this issue. And so part of the legal framework that we're trying to navigate here is also a call out to the province to say, we need better supports. We need supportive housing. We need shelter funds. We need to have more units. That hasn't changed. And if we don't need to use the notwithstanding clause, that's also fine as well. But after 2 and 3 years of municipalities struggling to deal with this issue because of the legal friction that is continually occurring, especially when we offer a better path for these people to get better in life and it's refused, we feel we have nowhere to turn than to ask for the notwithstanding clause to be considered where necessary.
Well, I mean, it's a big move to use the notwithstanding clause, right? To override charter rights and override the courts in a country like Canada. It's something that Doug Ford has tried to do in the past with labor negotiations, and that blew up in his face. But if some of this is a shortage of capacity and supports, which I think we all would agree is a case, I mean, Doug Ford just used $3 billion to send $200 checks to people in Ontario. That's money, you could argue, could have been used to help deal with something like this, right? To build shelter capacity. I mean, are the mayors pressing the Premier on that point in addition to overriding the charter?
Absolutely. In fact, let's go a little bit further and respectfully, $200 checks to everybody that's costing $3 billion, that could have gone a long way for a lot of other issues in the community, including this one that we're talking about right now. Tunneling under the 401, attacks on bike lanes. I mean, all this stuff is, in our view and in many people's views, it's just not the prioritization that we're looking for the problems that cities are facing. And so this is just one of many. But you know what? This is a crisis, a health crisis that we're having in our communities. People are dying and people need shelter and supports and health supports that doesn't come always from the municipality. And that's why we need really clear direction and prioritization on this. And if that can all be done without the notwithstanding clause, that's fine. But we feel that the legal challenges that are continually having is leaving us no option than to write this letter to say that. And if at the very least, it raises this issue to the urgency level that it has to be, then so be it, because we can't go on like this anymore.
So in your city, just as a final point, Mayor, you've served eviction notices to an encampment, giving people who live there until November 13th to leave. So you're tackling it without the notwithstanding clause. I guess we won't know how this plays out until November 13th. What's your sense of where the situation is going to go in Guelph?
I'm not sure, and I hope and pray that these people will take us up on the offers of the shelter or the units that we're trying to continually offer them. But I've been going through this issue, and our downtown core especially has been going through this issue for over 2 years. And if this one gets solved, that's great. But then there's going to be another one, and there's going to be another one. And where is the rights of the mom that wants to go to the park, or the elderly lady that wants to sit on the bench in our downtown core that's overtaken by encampments to enjoy our downtown? Where is the rights of other people too? And this is where the friction is, and where we need guidance and clarity around it for municipalities as we offer a pathway to health and shelter for people, but also try to keep safety and welcoming spaces clean and clear for everybody. I think that's a fair and reasonable position, and most people would actually agree with me.
Guelph Mayor Cam Guthrie, always appreciate your time on the show. Maybe we'll have you back after the 13th of November and see where things are in your city and with the Premier. Thanks so much for being here today.
Take care. Bye-bye.